There are powerful forces at work in the universe. From man-made explosions to Mother Nature's devastating destruction, to epic blasts of unbelievable cosmic power. All of them reveal a universe of lurking perils, like exploding stars, apocalyptic asteroid impacts, and invisible jets of radiation streaming across the universe. The cosmos is a place of ever-present danger. But what's amazing is that in the entire universe, nothing is more powerful than the colossal explosion that created it all, the Big Bang.
The Big Bang is an amazingly difficult thing to wrap your brain around, which isn't surprising. When you're trying to think about the universe being smaller than the head of a pin,
Actually, smaller than an atom, about as small as the proton at the center of an atom. Whatever the universe was at the very beginning, some 13.7 billion years ago, we think it was tiny, an infinitesimal nugget of space. And then something happened, triggering the most colossal explosion in history. In a billionth of a billionth of a billionth of a second, the universe grew from the size of that tiny point to something billions of miles across. This colossal blast created everything, all the matter we see in the universe today.
But what's often overlooked is that the Big Bang is not just an explosion that happened at some moment in time at some point in space.
it was not just an explosion of material into an empty universe that was sitting there waiting to be filled. It was the explosion of space and time into existence to begin with.
And that's what trips most of us up. Before the Big Bang, there was nothing, literally nothing. And the black void of space is something. So is time.
To ask what's before the Big Bang, what's before there is time, is really a meaningless question. And likewise, to ask where the Big Bang occurred is meaningless because there was no space.
The old picture was that the universe is some kind of soap bubble. This is a picture given to us by Albert Einstein. And the soap bubble, well, it's expanding slowly, but it's slowing down. And we're like flies trapped on fly paper. We can't leave our soap bubble. That's the old picture. The WMAP satellite has forced us to throw out all this and introduce a whole new set of facts. First of all, the soap bubble is not slowing down. It is speeding up, it is out of control. It's expanding so rapidly that it could force a premature death of the universe. But this is the real killer now. This is what's causing so much excitement in the world of physics. We now believe there could be other soap bubbles out there in
other universes,
that the old concept of a universe, a one universe, is being replaced by a multiverse, and satellite data is leading the way. Now, we could be on the cusp of a new Copernican revolution. Copernicus introduced the idea that the Earth is not the center of all there is, that the Sun was the center of the solar system. In this new Copernican revolution, our universe is not necessarily the only game in town. that there could be other soap bubbles. Everybody knows that when matter falls into a black hole, it disappears. But, you know, even children ask the question of their parents, gee, Daddy, if all that matter falls into a black hole, where does it go?
Which is a good question.
Some of us believe that it's blown out the other end, that it goes through the kitchen sink, but then it's blown out into a white hole. Now, a white hole emits matter rather than swallowing it up. A white hole expands very rapidly to accommodate all this new matter flowing into it. And hey, doesn't that sound like the Big Bang? Doesn't that sound like Genesis itself? Our universe could be a white hole. A white hole expanding rapidly with matter flowing into it, connected by an umbilical cord to perhaps a parent universe.
If you've got an infinite number of universes, there's going to be some of those universes with the just right physical characteristics, and if that sum is large enough, maybe you can explain these extreme mathematical improbabilities without invoking a personal divine being to structure this life. That's the basic appeal.
Okay.
Why, to many people listening to this, it is almost as if theoretical physics has become a new priesthood, because you can make the calculations, you speak this, you're translating your technical language for the benefit of all of us, and we have to take it on trust that you've got it right, and this theory, perhaps, may be the right one.
Well, a priesthood is not accountable to anything but its own inner logic. We are accountable to the laws of nature. We have the WMAP satellite up in orbit right now, forcing us to rewrite a whole generation of textbooks that said that there's only one universe, that there's only atoms that make up the visible universe. That's the old thing that's been replaced by the WMAP satellite. And in 6 years, as I mentioned, LISA goes up in orbit. And again, LISA could disprove this. The Laser Interferometry Satellite. 3 satellites connected by laser beams making a triangle. The triangle is 3 million miles across, making it the largest satellite system ever conceived of by the human mind, to be launched in 2011. And it'll detect shock waves from the instant of the Big Bang. And if the shock waves don't come out right, if the frequency of vibrations that LISA picks up does not correspond to our theories go out the window.
What's the problem with all this?
Well, the first problem is it is a metaphysical appeal. It's not something that flows out of the physics of the universe.
Scientific.
You're appealing to something beyond the physics to make this work. The more fundamental problem is it's a form of the gambler's fallacy. And a good way to illustrate that would be to flip a coin. I got a quarter here, and I flip it. What if I were to flip it 100,000 times, and it came up heads all 100,000 times? You'd probably conclude that the coin has been purposed to always come up heads. But someone committing the gambler's fallacy would speculate that maybe there's an infinite number of quarters. And if you've got enough people flipping them 100,000 consecutive times each, one by pure chance would come up with heads 100,000 consecutive times, therefore the coin is fair. Now, that's basically what the multiverse people are doing. They're speculating along those lines. And my challenge to them would be, well, before you bet on the 101,001st flip of the quarter, wouldn't it be a good idea to pick up the quarter and examine both sides? If you see heads on both sides, then don't bet on tails. Keep your money. Now, people say, can we really do that with the universe? I argue that we can. We can examine the universe in greater detail. We're doing that every day. And if in examining it in greater detail, we see that the evidence for design gets stronger rather than weaker, then that tells us that someone has purpose that the universe take on those characteristics.